The Future Games is about moments, and Arkansas and Alabama delivered one of the best moments of the 2024 Future Games, or any other year for that matter. But to get there, we got to work our way to the decisive moment and understand how the stage was set. I'm now joined by Prep Baseball Alabama's Austin Sharp. And Austin, this starts off looking like it might be a pitching duel. Arkansas hitless until the fourth, and the credit there goes to Evan Malone and Dylan Olive, who combined for 6 strikeouts over the first 4 innings.
Yeah, Evan got us going. And when you go over there, you're facing the best of the best. And Evan's I think our second ranked uncommitted right-handed pitcher in the 2026 class. And I've seen Evan personally 4 times over the past year, and he's just been really good. Each time I've seen him, saw him in the spring pitching in the playoffs in a big matchup. He threw well then as a sophomore. Fast forward to our Yellowhammer State games, our premier event of the summer, where we've got what we think are some of the top players in Alabama in attendance, and I think he was up to 91 and struck out 4 or 5 in his 2 innings of work. And then fast forward to the future games, and he does the same. I think he threw 2 scoreless innings, struck out 4, was up to 90, I believe, and he's 6'2", 200 plus. Big fastball working up to 90. I think he's been up to 92 this summer pitching for XL at LakePoint. Got a firm, hard slider, tunnels it well, and showed the ability to turn over a changeup well against some of the left-handed hitters that he faced in the outing. Just the one thing that really stands out about him is just, he's got the stuff, but the makeup that he has, he pitches with a plan. He's got confidence. And it's he's really started to harness his command and his control over the past years. He's always been able to throw hard, but the command has definitely gotten better for him. And then you move on to Dylan Olive right behind him. May not throw as hard. I think he was 85 to 87, may have touched 88, but probably had one of the best sliders for Team Alabama. It's just, it just falls off the table. The fastball has arm side run, and then he's able to spin that firm slider underneath the right-handed hitter's barrels, and he found tons of success with it. Went two innings, didn't give up a run, and just kind of worked at a really quick pace. Had tons of confidence, and we were really pleased how both of those arms threw against some big time competition on a big stage.
Brian, the Arkansas arms kept Alabama largely in check through the first 6 innings. Just one hit allowed as Tristan Newberry and Owen Davenport combined to strike out 6. These are two extremely tough lefties, as Newberry is now an Arkansas commit and Davenport just behind Newberry in the position rankings in the state.
Yeah, it's amazing. You do this long enough to where you see the kids when they're little or younger, and then you watch them grow. And so I remember both of them as 12, 13-year-olds. They came and they were at our events, and Tristan had come and he had reclassed. But I mean, so many wonderful things have transpired, and they're both fantastic, and they both threw the ball really well, which is what the expectation was. And fortunate for Tristan to be able to get off the board, and I can't imagine that Davenport will be hanging around much longer either.
Alabama leads 2-0 going into the sixth off an RBI double from Marcus Lawler in the second and a fourth inning that included 4 base runners without a single hit in Leighton Poole crossing the plate. At this point, Arkansas has 2 hits, both singles. Alabama has just 1. You kind of have to feel like everything is breaking Alabama's way.
Yeah, we credit to our hitters. When you're facing those arms, you only get to see a guy really one time, because the next time you come up, it's a new pitcher, and the type of pitchers that you're facing some high level arms. So only getting to see a guy one time, and being able to work the count and hit what's pitched to you. And credit to our guys, they were able to work the count, get on base, and then finally Marcus Lawler came through with a big pull side double into the left center field gap that got us on the board. When you look at Marcus, he may not look like he's got a little bit of a smaller frame, but man, he packs a punch in that right-handed swing. Swings it much bigger than you would think he could. He probably profiles a little bit more as a second baseman, an offensive second baseman, and he's transferred to a big time powerhouse school in Alabama this spring, and he's a guy who's definitely going to be one to follow over the next year.
Arkansas's bats get to work in the sixth. Max Conine, Daxton Hammett delivering RBI singles, 3 more runs in the seventh, including a 2-run double from Sean Cover. Did you feel like it was only a matter of time before these bats got going, and how had the vibe changed once that started happening?
It was almost like they were just waiting, like a regular game with the normal team that's played together for a long time. I mean, most of these kids know each other from the circuit anyways, but it's like once they broke through, all of a sudden, here it came. And, those guys can hit. That's why they were picked. I mean, those guys are hitters. And, to be able to put some stuff together there at the end and then get back in the ball game, Cover's big 2-run double obviously put us on top for a second. And it was really neat to see. It's always great at that event when guys get going and they get comfortable. The first day, it takes them a minute. But once they settle in, then they show what they're capable of.
Alabama gets one back in the seventh as Caden Smith singles home Angelo Santiago, but Arkansas responds. We head to the bottom of the eighth with Arkansas up 6-3. In the span of 2 innings, this game has turned on its head. Austin, what was the message to the Alabama players?
You want to win these games. The main reason for these games are for those players to showcase their talents in front of the 420 plus college coaches in attendance. You want to win being competitors. You want to win the game, but that's not the sole reason that you're there. But you tell your guys, go up there, take good at bats, and let the pitches fall where they may, and whatever happens. And like I mentioned earlier, we were able to work the count, and credit to our guys, they did a really good job.
Cross Tonsmeyer leads off the eighth with a single, then proceeds to steal second and third in a span of 3 pitches. Aaron Bailey walks and steals second, setting the stage for Gavin Smith's RBI single to make it 6-4. Wells, you're in the hole at this point. What's the conversations like in the Alabama dugout?
Yeah, the team we had a lot of energy in that last inning, and we knew that we could come back.
Caleb had thrown the ball great the inning before, and I don't know that he threw the ball poorly that next inning. He took a rocket off of his ankle, and so we went out, and I was in my headspace the ball was hit hard, and so I didn't think he would continue, but credit Caleb's toughness. He's like, no, I'm going to finish, and so it definitely impacted his ability to throw it. The velocity dropped just a little bit, but he went out there and competed.
Austin, a lot of that is going to get lost into what's to come, but the work on the base pass with Tonsmeyer, Bailey, and Lawler was huge.
Yeah, I already talked about Lawler, but Tonsmeyer and Bailey, both guys who are ranked inside our top 10 in our 2026 class right now. We've seen them perform over the past couple of years, but when you, like I mentioned, facing those big time arms, you may not have the type of success that you want to in gameplay. And credit to them to not, I don't know if I don't think they got a hit during that game. They had a couple walks, and credit to them for not, getting down on themselves, being able to run the bases and have make an impact in another way on the base, and that's on the base pass.
So you come to the plate, 2 on, nobody out. What are you thinking as you step into the box?
Honestly, just square the ball up, put it in play, really. First pitch, slider for a strike, and I was hoping he'd come back to that pitch, and he did, and hung it a little bit, and I was able to get a barrel to it.
Yeah, it was awesome, and talking to him after, you could tell how excited he was rounding the bases. It was a big moment for him, and the one cool thing that our staff will take away is that after the game in the dugout, he said it was probably the coolest moment of his life. So he definitely delivered in that big moment, and couldn't be more happy for him.
I know you have had to have watched it more than a few times, but how many times can you even guess how many times you've watched that moment so far?
I watched it probably 100 times.